Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Looking for Love in All the Wrong Dust Jackets, a show where three disgruntled harpies talk to you about everything we love in romance, whether that's books, movies, TV shows, whatever we like. My name's Liz.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Wiggles.
And welcome to a special holiday episode.
Yay!
Woo!
Yay! Woo! That's all the little elves that are here with us.
Today we are reading What's a Girl Gotta Do to Get on the Naughty List by Kimberly Lemming. But before we get into that, I do have to warn you, I have to let the people know that we are crass and unhinged or terribly unladylike. And we're going to talk about all of the naughty times, of which there were some. There are things to say.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like that and you don't like swearing, you've been warned and I'm no longer responsible for your actions.
Correct.
Get on that naughty list, girl.
I wouldn't mind being on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Wiggles, what do you want to tell us about Kimberly Lemming?
Well, we've already talked about a Kimberly Lemming book in the back and book in the
Book in the back.
We've already talked about a Kimberly Lemming book back in the day was what I was trying to say. And that book is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. So go check that one out. It's a fun book. It's a fun time. She is expanding her world. It's been primarily sort of a fantasy romance mashup, but now coming out in 2025, we will have I Got Abducted by Aliens and Now I'm Trapped in a Rom-Com. So
Ooh.
anticipate that. It looks like it's coming out February 18th.
Isn't there also like dinosaurs on the cover?
There is a lion.
Mm.
And there is a T-Rex on the cover. So
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and there's what looks to be like a drow who's ginger with horns.
All right.
So, I don't know. That's what it could also, the tail is throwing me a little bit. So it could also be a tiefling.
Yeah.
Could be none of those things.
We're not showing our D&D at all in this moment.
No, I'm not a nerd like that, Danny. But yeah, so that's coming out in her new series, Cosmic Chaos. So, Danny, what does a girl got to do to get on the naughty list?
Many, many things. So this is about Daphne, who at the start of the book, you realize that she has broken into... It was her grandmother's house, but essentially her sister and ex-fiance stole it from her. And she is enacting revenge by shoving shrimp in hard-to-reach places and hard-to-determine places. It's childish, and I love it for her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Krampus appears to punish her because she is on the naughty list. And she kind of is like, whoa, wait a minute. One, you're kind of hot. Two, let me explain. And so she kind of explains why she's doing this thing, and he lets her kind of get revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fucks the shit out of her.
Like you do.
Like you do. And then disappears.
Like you do.
Like you do.
You can't say the phrase fucks the shit out of her because then I always think of Zach and Mary make a porno.
I really wish you wouldn't. I really wish you hadn't brought that up. And I really wish you didn't put that in my head. So thank you.
You're welcome. Look, I didn't create the scene that's in that movie, okay?
Back at it. Pulling away from that. And so she's like, oh my God, that was amazing. I need to get him back here. And the only way she can think to do it is to get herself back on the naughty list. So she's like, I'm going to rob my friend's store. To which her friend is immediately just like, what the fuck are you doing in my bakery? I can see you. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
She explains, and then she's like, cool, let's rob a bank. Her friend, weirdly okay with that situation.
Well,
Almost eager.
the robbing the bank, yes, that she seemed like she already had that kind of planned. And also, apparently this book exists in a universe where her friend is with a demon. So
Yes.
she's like, oh, I'll get you.
It is an extremely short book. It is 56 pages.
Which is
But let's discuss.
Yeah.
So, there is another book called 2 Scoops of Hellfire, if you want to know Daisy's story. So you can check that out.
Yeah.
It's not a Christmas book, though, as far as I can tell. It's about the pandemic. So, in a bakery.
Okay. So back to this book. All I could think is at the very top when she is in her sister's house hiding the shrimp in the floorboards and such. All I could think is I don't know if you guys have ever like heard the story of if you hide lemons in people's houses, because lemons don't, when they rot, they don't create a smell, but they will attract fruit flies. So you can just like,
Devious.
yeah, put lemons in like vents and stuff and they'll never know, but they'll just have fruit flies everywhere.
That's awful.
Yeah,
I've
it's
also
terrible.
heard of putting shrimp in the shower, in the curtain rods.
Oh, no.
The only thing I was thinking of the whole time is throwing the fish in the back of the truck from Comfrey Old Men. So a little less.
I've
little
also
less
heard
devious.
of people getting little devices that just in random intervals emit random noises, and you hide them somewhere in their house and people think they're going nuts.
Yeah.
Because it's also at random volumes. So it changes volumes. It changes what the noise is.
People are mean.
One of the noises apparently is a dying breath.
Why are people like this?
Okay, but not only are people getting that item, somebody had to have the thought to design it, create it, market it, and sell it.
That's literally torture.
Yeah.
I don't like it. If anyone does that to me, the hellfire that I will rain down on them be severe.
Good to know.
Hey Liz, Christmas present ideas for Wiggle.
We like her.
I know.
I will smear your tub with Vaseline.
That's attempted murder.
It's only attempted if I fail.
Anyway, back to this book before we put all of our plots down in audio format.
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
Okay, so Krampus shows up, literally the top, and is like, get in the bag, you're on the naughty list. And I don't know. Like, I get that this is a novella. My first reaction wouldn't, or my second reaction, I guess, wouldn't be, but she's kind of hot.
I mean, it is a monster romance.
Yeah, it's just for funsies.
It is. If this gigantic monster dude like came at me and was like, get in the sack, I'd be like, I'd have a similar reaction to hers of, excuse me, no. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Well, at first she thought it was a prank,
Yeah,
and it was somebody in a costume, which makes sense. You're not going to see that creature and go, oh my God, it's real. You'd be like, okay, this is a very realistic costume, and I don't like it.
Well, she's also obviously not firing on all cylinders completely either, because she's got a lot of stress-induced cray-cray going on, a little scatterbrained, I would guess, because even there's a moment where she like looks at the plants on the windowsill, which are her like grandmother's prized little herb garden and everything, and she's like, that bitch isn't watering them, and puts him on hold essentially to water the plant.
I get it. She's been gaslit every direction by everybody in her life. She was engaged to Lewis. I never know how you're supposed to pronounce that name.
Louise?
Yeah.
Louis?
I mean, it could also be Louis.
Exactly. Do you understand?
I assumed Lewis.
And then Lewis cheated on her with her sister Charlotte,
Her twin sister.
Yeah, who's been the golden child, the spoiled little brat. Her parents tell her to just play nice. It's family. You can't help it if it's true love.
Which, that is I hate that fucking excuse.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. It's terrible.
Like, I absolutely agree. You can't help who you love. You still need to be held accountable for cheating.
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's wild to me that there are so many people who think that if you say that you did something for love, the consequences should not be things that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
what? Explain that logic to me.
You still have the consequences of your actions.
If I kick you in the shin for love and you kick me back, I can't be like, it was for love.
But also, was she living at her Nana's house?
Yes.
So her Nana gets sick, and on her deathbed, while she's hyped up on all sorts of medication, Charlotte weasels her way in and gets her to change the will, and so that Charlotte gets everything. And I'm still very confused as to how that held up in a court of law. But again, this is just a novella for funsies.
You can't overthink some of those things. In order to enjoy the book, you just have to move past it and say, I accept the information you're telling me.
I will say, as somebody who formerly worked in the like death industry and everything, people do shit like that.
Oh, I understand them doing that shit. I'm just surprised that when Daphne contested it, the judge was like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Sucks to suck, bitch.
Well, and I just feel, it makes me feel so bad for her because it sounds like her grandma is the only one who saw through Charlotte
Yeah.
and was just like, fuck no.
So that's why when Krampus, our hot, sexy goat man person,
I found different, a lot of weird things sexy, so whatever.
oh no,
I can go with Krampus.
It's fine. Like I knew what he looked like going into this, but when he actually listens to her, as soon as she's like, "Let me just explain the situation," yeah, I could definitely then easily be like convinced of, okay, I want to keep this guy around. He listened to me.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to me.
Yeah.
Also, you know how I know that her sister is a psycho? She puts her plates on the bottom, in the bottom cupboards.
Yeah, that's just psychotic. Who does that?
There's some questions, and I think we need to examine it because I think this is indicative of some bigger things.
Yeah.
Because that's not right.
No.
What a psycho. The second she said it, I was like, that more upset me than anything else. I was like, how dare you? That's where pots and pans go. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Throw a plate down there?
Like, who wants to bend over that much to get a plate?
I know
Wow.
who does.
Yeah.
Ayy.
But it's not fun every time, God damn it.
Well, not with that attitude, Danny. Clearly, you need Krampus to visit you.
With his candy cane dick.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm going to jump to it. Because all the preamble is kind of boring.
Oh, to the sex?
Yeah, I just want to get to the sex.
Oh, yeah. So, blah, blah, blah. Krampus helps Daphne get revenge on Charlotte. Charlotte goes, oh
He
my
forces
God.
her into a painting, which is interesting.
Yeah, I was like,
Don't know how that works.
And Charlotte gets freaked out, says she'll give the house back. Cool. Sex.
So, like, immediately he, like, gets into this thing of, like, bad girl, good girl discussion, but never ever calls her a bad girl. She's always a good girl in a negative way sometimes, which is interesting.
I kind of get it as
Yeah.
like as the back in the day, maybe not so much anymore, but like the always the good girl. Somebody coming up and being like, you know what, you really need to let loose. I'd be like, you're right, I do.
Right, I do. Yes, I love how he's like, but you were on the honor roll.
Yes.
It's like, oh, talk dirty to me. Who?
I do love that when they get into the bedroom to fuck on Charlotte's bed, because Charlotte apparently replaced all the furnishings in her Nana's bedroom already. And she has like a king size 4-poster bed in there. And he's like, she like is glaring. He's like, you can destroy her furnishings later. Let's do this.
I've got things to do. You're hardly the only person whose ass is grass and I'm the lawnmower, okay? I got more people to throw in sacks. So.
Yeah. I do appreciate that Krampus was a very aggressive monster.
He was.
Yeah.
But also considerate. He bit off his claws.
Yes,
on
I
3
loved
of
that.
his fingers because he was like, well, I can't be scratching you up. And like, thank you. It's about time people ask the appropriate questions.
He's like, oh, let me take care of this. Okay.
The amount of monster fucking that we have read between the 3 of us where that doesn't happen, it's too much.
I have actually read some where it does, though.
I have as well. This is not my
People
first.
are catching on. People are realizing that shit don't work.
There's been a couple times where I'm like, but how though? How?
Honestly, it actually does kind of take me out of it. I'd much prefer the claws to be like retractable.
Yeah.
Because then my brain just goes, how weak are your claws that you can bite them off? Or how strong is your bite that you can bite them off? And it takes me out of it.
I mean, you can bite off your own finger with the same force it takes to bite through a carrot.
I know, but like these are claws, not fingernails.
Yeah, but like if you can bite through bone, you should be able to bite through a claw.
I don't know. See, these are just the questions I ask. And they take me out of it. You get distracted by weird looking penises. I get
do.
distracted by physics.
I'm explaining the physics to you.
I still don't find it believable.
You can't explain the dick to me with its weird phalange.
Yeah, but okay, but like Danny, could you just like bite your fingernail off?
Yeah.
You are speaking to somebody who does bite her fingernails. The only reason that my nails are
With
so goddamn
one
long
chomp?
is...
I'm not talking about chewing. I'm talking about literally just going crank.
Yes.
And it's gone.
I can. Yes. Back to the dickin'.
Back to the decking.
You're down.
So she does not see the candy cane penis the first time they fuck because she gets fucked from behind thoroughly.
He does immediately tell her to strip and get on all fours because he's got things to do. He's a busy man.
And also apparently he has a very long tongue That is triple pierced.
Okay, so that's the thing I need to talk about.
Yeah, I was also
You're
very
worried-
confused.
You're worried about the physics of his claws. I'm sitting there worried about the physics of how is his dick in her? His tongue is in her ass.
Yeah.
And he is still managing to pull her up by her throat. How?
He has a really long tongue, apparently.
I just am confused.
He is magical in many ways. She does bring it up too. She's like, how is he doing this? Because he's also like speaking and
Yeah.
Yeah. What is this man? I got questions. Don't know if I want answers.
I'd like to find out.
Yeah. And he has 2 piercings in his very long tongue.
I thought it was 3. It was, I don't know. I just knew it was multiple.
There were more than one. And
I knew
that's
that.
And apparently he was doing good things with it. But is it in that one where he goes corkscrew?
No, that's in the next.
That's the next
The next one. That one also confused the fuck out of me.
Right. But yeah, they have a magical minty night together and proceed to fall asleep, or she does, and wakes up, and that son of a bitch ain't there.
And that's just rude.
It is.
Not even a note.
Right?
Not even a see you later. You son of a bitch.
And so she's like, well, I need to get back on that naughty list.
I love that she's like, I'm going to break into my friend's shop, which is like, yeah, I get why you're doing that. There's going to be almost no consequences to it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make it, that like takes away the naughty then.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just going to your friend's shop.
She's still not being naughty.
Right.
It's giving strong good girl energy.
Yeah, it is.
really is.
You know, like just like, well, I need to do something that's illegal, but it won't hurt anybody.
Right. Yes.
So she
I
got
could
the
totally see myself doing that.
Right? Right? I would apply the same logic she did. I would have been like, well, I don't want to actually like bust in somebody's window. So I'll do it to my friend because then I can like fix it later.
Yeah.
Doesn't she find the key though? She doesn't even
Yeah.
have to
Yeah,
break
she
the
doesn't
window.
even bust it in.
So then it's like, you're not even breaking and entering at that point. I mean,
Yeah.
I think by the law you are, but you know what I
Technically
mean.
you are, but still. And then I just love the conversation with her friend. She's like, what are you doing in my bakery? Checking this thing.
It's my new Christmas tradition where I break into my friend's bakery. You know, the
That
way they
little
do.
chestnut.
Yeah. And then I love that she's like, well, I'm going to steal. There's nothing. You've locked up for Christmas. There's nothing here. Son of a bitch.
So she's got to explain that she fucked Krampus last night.
Her friend is majorly supportive, which is worrisome until you're like, oh, she's been fucking a demon for a while, apparently.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I would like to think that if I called you and said, I fucked Krampus, you would be like, so we're going to take you to somebody who can help you.
Yeah, there would definitely be okay, Wiggles, I have follow-up questions.
But apparently, if you already have a demon of your own, you're like, oh, okay, cool.
All right.
So you want, what do you want to do? Let's go rob a bank. That'll get us on the
I have
naughty
the
list.
perfect bank in mind.
So we're going to do that tomorrow.
And then ultimately she's like gives up and goes back to her apartment, and her ex is there like being a major fucking creep.
Yeah.
Oh, so creepy. Asshole.
Because he wants her back now.
He wants her
Yeah.
back because she's getting the house because her sister texted her and was a bitch about it too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Of course she was.
But she's giving her the house back and blah, blah, blah. And so then he decides, oh, but I need to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
Fuckface.
Really aggressive.
Really aggressive.
And then when, he doesn't hear the answer he wants, he's like, what if I just murder you?
Yep.
Right? There's a big 0
Yeah.
to 60 there.
Yeah. It actually freaked me out first. I was like, oh God,
I know. I had a moment where I was like, this is gonna go bad. And
This
I was
is
like,
bad vibes.
Krampus is gonna show up real soon. Yep,
Yeah.
that's what's gonna happen.
Yep.
And he does.
Yeah,
he
he
kind
does.
of waited till the last minute, if we're being honest. He could have showed up earlier.
Uh-huh.
Because she gets thrown off of her balcony, and instead of hitting the ground, she gets caught by our burly boy, who gently sets her down on the couch and then is like, bitch, I'm gonna kill you, and throws him into his sack and then puts him in the chimney to light him on fire.
Uh-huh.
I think.
I don't really know
Unclear.
where he goes, and I don't care, because then we got to fucking part 2.
I
Yeah.
do love when
The redicking.
I do love when he
Thank you for that.
I do love when he comes in. He's like, he basically says his name and everything. You know, you're on the naughty list for this, this, and this, and then the last thing is and touching what's mine. I'm like, oh,
Okay, but I mean, yes, very hot, but also, bro, you left.
Yeah.
Like,
Bro, get it together.
you can't just say I'm yours if you're not actually gonna stick around to prove it.
well, I mean, I agree, but it's just when he said it, I was like, ooh, coochie twinge.
God damn it.
This is why
Anyway.
you love me.
Anyway, now we get to go to the corkscrew part.
Yeah.
Corkscrew.
Well, first he gets to working on the lady. He's like, this tongue of mine does many things.
Uh-huh.
And is apparently taking too long with all of his tempting and teasing, and puts her through the ringer, and finally is like, you've been pretty good, so I'm gonna reward you, and just decides to twirl his tongue into a corkscrew, which is still like a lot for me to process. Like, I was like, how it's a muscle, it doesn't like, I
mean, if your tongue was long enough, you could probably do that.
you could probably do a couple swirls, but
Yeah.
like, how long does it have to be to
I
actually
don't-
corkscrew? And
I
maybe
don't
that
know.
explains the butthole. Maybe it's like way longer. Like, maybe he has to roll it up into his mouth to get it all in there.
I don't know.
Maybe he can elongate it.
For pleasure?
Long for her pleasure.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know even what a Krampus is. Like, I know what Krampus is, but
Yeah.
like,
I think they're like, if an abominable snowman was also a goat man and was also semi-evil, but like not really evil, because he's just like, hey, you pissed off Santa and now I'm here
Yeah.
because you suck dick.
I think
I'm not in the good way.
he's like, I visualize him like the devil from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going with here when he's in goat form.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I picture him sort of like kind of minotaurish though.
Yeah.
Like, I pictured him a lot bigger than like
Well, and
a
that's
normal goat man.
the one in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. He's very large.
Yes, but he's also gray, so for what that's worth and matters.
I guess I did envision him brown like a werewolf, but large and goat man like.
Disrespect your bridge, goat man.
I need
Uh,
to
Just
rewatch
busts through
those.
the door. How dare you? I'm like, oh my god. Show me your tongue.
Well, that's what that tongue is what originally turned her on. She's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, it's pierced.
Well, he's out there sloppily drinking his eggnog, and he's like, let me just get my tongue out there to wipe it off, windshield wiper style.
He's constantly bringing her like seasonal alcoholic beverages too.
Which
Yes,
is
I
a
do appreciate
win.
that. Yeah,
I love
apparently
that.
the Snickerdoodle martinis from the North Pole are the top.
Yeah, and he like when he collects her, he like puts her on the couch and then gives her a Snickerdoodle martini.
Yes.
And then is like, I'm gonna fuck your shit.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate being like, yes, thank you for my treat. Okay, you go kill people now. Bye.
Yay!
But then she gets a different treat later.
She
Sure
does in the
does.
form of a candy cane.
I did not like the candy cane dip.
I didn't either. I could have done without it being a candy cane.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my question about it. Is it just a peppermint stick, or is there a hook on it?
That is that is a question I need answered, quite frankly, because I'm confused.
I was
I don't-
assuming that it had to be a peppermint stick.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Otherwise, no.
Or is the hook of it the reverse? What if we're thinking about this the wrong direction? Like, the hook's not on the front end, it's on the back end towards the balls.
Look, I just thought it was a dick that looked like a candy cane at the like a peppermint twirl thing at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping, at least, because if it's an actual candy cane with the...
Yeah, I don't think there's a hook.
Although if there was a hook, it might...
What if it just
Be
curves
clit
up a little
stimulating.
bit and it doesn't quite like hook, but it's got
Maybe it does have a curve, a slight bend.
like a slight bend to
Yeah,
it.
yeah. See, all I can think in any of this isn't a sentient romance, but I have tried them. And anytime I'm just like, you can't put that in your hoo-ha, you're going to get a yeast infection. And that's all I could think when it was like minty fresh.
I think if he can elongate his tongue to do what it did, I think that he can like control the amount of sugar that's coming off his dick.
I hope so.
I hope
mean,
so too.
Me
Otherwise,
too.
she's gonna have a bad day.
Yeah.
A really bad day. Few bad days. Maybe even a bad month. Yuckers. Mm-mm. Also, you would think that, I don't know how minty fresh he really is, but you'd think that menthol might be a little spicy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought of that. I was like, ooh.
but it does make oral a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Or here's my other question. Does he always have a candy cane dick, or did he turn it into a candy cane dick as a treat for her?
that's a good question.
That is
Right?
an excellent question.
And I don't have an answer to it.
We don't. We'll never know. And that's the real shame. So Kimberly Lemming, if you email us at wrongdustjackets@gmail.com, we would love to know the answer to this question.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's not there again the next morning.
like a son of a bitch.
Like a son of a bitch.
And so she's like, well, I guess I got to do actually the crimes. I actually have to do the robbing of the bank. And he catches up to her right before they're about to actually break into the bank. And is like, I got you some coffee, you psycho.
Yeah, he's like, I went to get coffee for you.
Well, okay, but track record.
Well,
That's, you know.
Daisy, her friend, even asks her, she's like, okay, but like, how long did you wait?
Yeah.
She was like, minutes after I woke up. I was like, Daisy, get your bitch ass over here. We're robbing a bank.
And I love that Krampus shows up as they're about to do this act, and Daisy is still like, fuck it, and chucks the brick at the window.
This is what I picture in my head, because it wasn't like fully described, because you had to get through it real quick. It's a novella. But I picture Daisy has had this brick in her purse for weeks now.
Like in 101 Dalmatians.
What?
Sorry. Usually I make references and you get it, but you didn't get this one. Continue.
Sorry. And she finally, like, she's like, there's a part of her that's like, I can't just like put the brick down next to their window, and I'm not gonna haul this brick around anymore. So she's like, fuck it, I'm doing it anyway. Throws it, double middle fingers her way out of there, and she's like, I have a demon boyfriend, eat my asshole. That's what I picture. So not like 101 Dalmatians.
In the live action 101 Dalmatians that came out in the early 90s, when I don't remember any of the characters' names other than Pongo.
Benita?
Not the dogs, the people.
Oh.
When they first meet, she hits the guy with her purse and he's like, what do you have in there? Bricks? And she pulls it out and it's a brick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's been repaving her driveway or whatever, and she's just collecting bricks wherever she finds them.
See, Danny knows.
I think I watched the live action 101 Dalmatians one time.
Oh, I watched it a lot. It was one of the VHSs that we had.
It was not one we had. It's crazy how there was a time in our lives where if you didn't own the VHS, you didn't watch the movie.
Correct. Correct.
It was not possible.
Well, we didn't even technically own it. We had recorded it when it was on TV.
Yes, those are the best ones.
Yes.
I do love that.
Yes, we had one that had The Sandlot and Little Giants on it, and we wore that bitch out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much the end of the book. Krampus is like, I'm gonna cramp your style a little longer. Okay, that was a good joke, and neither of you laughed.
I'm sorry. Do it again.
No.
Okay.
And that's the end of the book.
Which brings us to
Ratings time. Yeah.
what would be your spice rating?
I mean, considering that that's the majority of the book,
Right.
I would say that it's like a solid 3.5. There's a lot happening in there.
There's
I would say that, yeah.
I was thinking 3.5 as well. There were some spanking scenes that were very nice.
Do you know what that means?
I do. Gavel, gavel.
I apologize for my friends. They are weird.
Don't apologize for me.
The thing I don't understand is why you're so anti-gavel gavel. Is it just to be antagonistic?
I mean,
It's her rebellious
No.
side. She didn't get to rebel in high school.
I rebelled plenty in high school. No, I didn't.
I was like, what are you saying?
I was
No,
like,
you didn't.
explain yourself. Tell me how you rebelled.
So I couldn't even get my way through that.
Did
full
you put
sentence
shrimps in
without
someone's backpack?
No.
Oh, that'd be so mean.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Your romance,
romance.
rating?
Romance. I mean, it doesn't really have
No.
any. I would say 0.5 just because he's like, she's mine, and the martini.
He's a little cute that way.
He's a little cute.
Yeah.
Like, if this was longer, they would have a romance. So I'm
Yes.
going to agree with the 0.5.
I will as well.
Yeah.
Purely because gavel, gavel.
How about your overall rating, guys?
I thought it was really good for what it was, and so I gave it a 4 on Goodreads, but a 3.5 overall, just because novellas aren't my favorite thing.
I gave it a 4 on Goodreads, and I am going to stick with that. It's because of what it was. It hit the mark on what it was supposed to do. There were a few points that took me out of it, which is why I lost a star, but I'm good with 4.
I rated it a 3 on Goodreads, but it's actually a 3.5 for me.
Fair.
I mean, it did what it set out to do, and it was cute, and for what it was as a novella, they're very short and everything. I liked it.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
I would definitely recommend this if you're like, I just want something that's vaguely a little bit Christmassy, but is mostly smutty.
Yeah.
Christmas smut. Get your Christmas smut.
So what are your recommendations then?
So my recommendation's a little weird.
Oh, go for it.
But it is what it is. So there is a Nordic Krampus festival. And so if you like read this and were like, I want to learn more about Krampus, they have like a whole parade of these like various different flavors of Krampus. And you should just look it up. Just Google it. It's a good time. Check it out.
Okay.
That's my recommendation.
That is weird. I would recommend Mistletoe by Kimberly Lemming. I read this one, I think about this time last year. And it's another novella. It's 60 pages, but it is in the same universe as The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. Ruby, I believe is the FMC's name. Her father, who's a smith, actually pissed off a fox demon. And so she goes to try to like make amends. And instead of, just taking her thank you her apology for what it is, he's like, actually, I need a date to a week-long winter festival, so that's you. So yeah, and of course that leads to many sexy times.
That's so crazy. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I know.
And then I'm gonna recommend Love Laugh Lich by Katie Pryor.
Sure.
But Live Laugh Lich is also a very short book, and it does what it sets out to do, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, this was a short one, but a fun one.
Well, it's our holiday special, so it was supposed to be short and fun.
Yes.
And a little bit chaotic.
Success.
So if you like this episode, you can find us out there on the socials at Wrong Dust Jackets, primarily on TikTok and Instagram, but really you can find us most places. Also, you can go to our website, wrongdustjackets.com, where you can find a list of previous episodes, upcoming episodes, as well as our blog post where you can find reviews of books that don't quite make it into full episodes. And we would absolutely love it if you could like, rate, review, comment, whatever's available to you on your podcast listening app. It would help us so much. That's what I got. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.